Hello and welcome to Bio 239. This is for the second session of summer, and I'm your instructor, Professor Adrienne Foster Sharf, and I'm so happy that you're here. We're a small class, and since it's going to be a few days until I see you face to face, hopefully for an office hour, I thought I'd make this little video to introduce you to the class. Hopefully you've had a chance to kind of look around, and I just want to give you a few pointers, and I wanted to kind of go over the basics of how you should expect the next few weeks to go. So this course considers the general and the medical aspects of microorganisms. We're going to talk about bacteria, viruses, we'll talk about fungi, we'll spend a little bit of time looking at parasitic helminths as well. I'll introduce you very briefly to the algae and prions or prions as well. So we're going to talk about a wide variety of microbes, and periodically I'll talk about their importance in the environment around us and what they're doing to support our lives, and then I'll talk a little bit about how they affect human health as well. We'll also talk a bit about how you identify microorganisms in the laboratory. Let's say a patient comes into you and they're sick with some sort of infection. How do you figure out what microbe is causing that infection? We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll also talk about how people contract infections. We'll talk about sources and modes of infection. A big part of this class, probably 1/3 of it, give or take, is how we inhibit and control the growth of microorganisms. We'll look at antiseptics, disinfectants, antibiotics. We'll also talk a little bit about how your own immune system tries to protect you from infection by a whole host of microbes. We'll talk a little bit about sanitation. I'll talk for a chapter or two about bacterial physiology. Now, you've already had anatomy and physiology by now, so you know that physiology is how things work. So we'll talk a little bit about how bacteria work, and we'll talk a little smidge about genetic engineering. For the lab portion of this class, we'll look at some basic lab techniques that anyone who's been through a microbiology class should be familiar with. To be in this class, you should have had Bio 234 either previously or you're taking it while you're taking micro. You could have also had Bio 154, that's the human physiology, or you could have taken the Bio 121, which is the majors version of college bio. All of this presupposes that you've had some chemistry, you've had some biology, and this is not your first science class. If you're not a Bristol student, then as long as you've had a basic college level majors biology, then you should be fine. This implies that you've had some biology in high school and chemistry, and for your best understanding in this course, you should have had those courses in the last 5 years or so. So this is my contact information. The two best ways to contact me are by email and text. So my email address is adrienne.fostersharf@bristolcc.edu. If you send me an email, you can send it either from your course space or using whatever email client you want. You want to make sure that you're using your Bristol email account. You also want to make sure that you include Bio 239 in the subject line so that I know that the email is coming from someone in this class. Over the summer, I'm going to be getting a lot of email, and I want to be sure that I don't miss yours. So please put Bio 239 in the subject line. You also want to make sure that you use a greeting, clearly state what your question is, and then a salutation or, an exit greeting. And I generally answer my emails within 24 hours. Occasionally it's a little bit longer. It depends upon what the email is, but usually it's within 24 hours. The best way to contact me for a pressing question is the Remind app. So you can get this app at the Apple App Store or Google Play or wherever you buy your apps. You can also probably download it from their website, so that would be remind.com, and they'll ask you for a code. This is the code for our class. So F6289C. You'll just type that in, plus I think you give them your phone number, and they'll basically hook you up to a classroom, and you'll be able to text me. They will keep your phone number private. They're keeping my phone number private, but this app will allow us to communicate in both directions. I generally answer texts, I would say within 30 minutes. Sometimes it takes longer than that during the day. I typically will answer emails during business hours, but I have been known to answer them outside of business hours. There's information about that in the communication policy in your syllabus as well as in your course space. Now, because of the pandemic, I'm not in my office in Attleboro, so my office is room 136. So don't drop by to come see me because I won't be there. The college is limiting how many people are on the campuses right now, and the Attleboro campus is actually closed. You can reach college services by phone, you just can't go to an office. So don't use my office because I won't be there. This is my office phone number, 774-357-2988. Again, I'm not on campus, so if you leave a phone message for me on voicemail, I probably won't get it until we're back on campus, and that's probably not going to be until 2021. So please don't call me on the phone, but again, you have email and text, and I am responsive. You can also meet me online in your Blackboard Collaborate course space. So I will be posting how to get to Blackboard Collaborate and how to use it to your course space. And I hope to see you for my first office hour this Saturday at 8 a.m. That will be an opportunity. I'll have my webcam on. You can see me. We can talk to each other. And typically on Saturdays, I'll bring questions to help you review material ahead of your exams. So I think it's worthwhile coming on Saturday, and the office hour is kind of early to kind of get it out of the way so you can move on with your day. As you already know, I placed a survey in your course space to determine a second office hour. So this will be just a drop-in time. If you want to come see me to talk about micro-related information, I'll be in your Blackboard Collaborate space on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. I'll wait around for about 15 minutes. Feel free to drop in. If you drop in, then I'll stay as long as you need. If you haven't told me that you're coming and nobody comes before about 8:15, 8:20 or so, then I might leave early. I'm not sure. I will be in your course space Saturdays for the entire hour, Tuesdays 15 minutes, and maybe more. What do you need for this course? Well, one thing that you need is a textbook. And you have two options. You can use this textbook by Totora, Funk, and Case. So this is available through the campus bookstore, and they'll actually mail it to your house. You could get it at Amazon or another bookseller on the internet. Or you can use this. This is a textbook, it's microbiology at OpenStax. So this is a textbook that's free to use, and it's actually written in conjunction with the American Society for Microbiology. I will tell you the truth. Initially, when I designed this course, I did it using the Totora, Funk, and Case book, but I'm switching to the OpenStax Microbiology because I see free textbooks as just a more sustainable option for students. But that said, if you choose to use the Microbiology by OpenStax, just be aware that some of the information is coming out of the Totora, Case, and Funk. That information is in my lecture notes, so you'll still have access to it. but you may not be able to find the same information in the same chapter um, in the OpenStax because, again, I designed my lectures based on the Totora bunking case. But in your syllabus, I have put where to find the information from the lectures in the OpenStax textbook. So you should be able to use it. It just may not be neatly packaged into one chapter. Please let me know how you're doing with that textbook over the semester because, as I said, I'm transitioning to that textbook, but the transition isn't complete yet. So if there are things that are missing, please let me know so that I can find alternative sources for them. You also need a computer with stable internet access. Your exams will all be online. And so you're going to need to have a stable internet access for your exams. You can surf the course space using your phone. It just may not work quite as well. My lectures are on YouTube, so that you can play with no problem, but interacting with other elements may be slightly more challenging on a cell phone. You will need software for making PDFs or docx files. So docx, this is the file format for Microsoft Word, and you have Microsoft Word access through your Access BCC. So you should be able to download that to your computer, Microsoft Word, if you don't have it already. For making PDFs, I recommend a bit of software called CamScanner. Some other students have used TinyPDF. Both of these programs will take a file on your computer and convert them into a PDF. And this is how you can submit your assignments. Okay, so you'll use either a PDF or a docx file. If you happen to have an iPhone, the Notes app and the Notes app on some of the older phones will allow you to make a PDF, and there's other ways for making PDFs on iPhones if you have one of the more current versions. So you can look in Google, type in your iPhone model, and then the keywords make a PDF, and it should show you YouTube videos that you can use for making PDFs. But that's how you'll submit your assignment. If you submit your assignments in something that's not a PDF, not a docx file, I can read JPEGs and TIFFs, so those are also options. If you're not using any of those formats, then I cannot read your assignment and you cannot get graded for it. So please, please, please make sure you use one of these formats. Again, it's PDF, docx, GIF, or sorry, JPEG, that's .jpeg or JPG, or you can use, I believe, TIFFs, which are .tiff, but those are usually large files. You'll need an internet browser. Please use Firefox or Chrome. There are elements of the Blackboard course space that are not compatible with every browser, but we know that these two work well, so please use Firefox or Chrome. You can also surf our course web space using the Blackboard app, so you'll need that too. The last thing that you're going to need definitely is time. So we're basically going to cover 15 weeks of microbiology, both lab and lecture, in 6 weeks. So that means that we're going to be moving almost twice as fast as during a normal semester. Keep in mind that microbiology is a weighty topic. There's a lot of information there. And now we're going to basically speed it up a bit. You really need to have enough time in your schedule to listen to the lectures, make notes, and do your assignments. I recommend that you set aside about 24 hours during the week to get through your course materials. I found out from students who took this same course in the first 6 weeks of the semester that may not be quite enough time. It's doable in 24 hours, but you may find that you need a little bit more time. So just make sure you set aside enough time to get everything done. Here's how you're going to be graded for the semester, for the summer rather. So you'll have 4 in class, this is in air quotes, you can't see me, but it's in air quotes, in class exams. So there'll be exams 1 through 3 and the final exam. The exams can be multiple choice, short answer, or essay. Okay, so just be aware of that. I generally put up a practice exam for each exam prior to when you take the exam so you can kind of see what the exam will be like before you take it. Each exam is worth 100 points. I will give you 25 homework points for doing the practice exams and submitting them. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean actually doing the exam and submitting it, not just racing through to see what the answers are so that you can memorize the answers for the exam. That's not what we want. I want you to take your time, use your notes, go through the questions, figure out what you think the right questions, right answers are, and then put those into the computer and get good feedback. So, since there are 4 exams, that means there are 4 practice exams. Just by doing the practice exams, you'll get 100 homework points. For the remaining 25 homework points, we are going to put together a wiki on the COVID-19 pandemic. You won't do this for the first 2 units. I believe this comes up in the 3rd unit, but as a class, there's about 20 COVID related questions that I ask. You're going to choose, let's see, this is a small class, so you're going to choose maybe 4 questions that you want to answer. You'll find the answers, and then you're going to look. We're going to add all of those answers to one document, and then the class will be responsible for editing the document and making sure that the information is correct. That will make the remaining 25 homework points that you need. In a normal semester, I would have a different type of assignment that I would have for homework, but since we're only doing this class in 6 weeks, I'm trying to eliminate some of the extra homeworks. So, what do you need to do for your homework points? You need to do the practice exams. There are 4 of them. And you need to work on the COVID-19 wiki. That will give you 125 points. I have left the normal semester homeworks in your course space. You do not have to do them this summer. But if you choose to do some of them, you may get bonus points at the end of the semester. Okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. It's an option, but it is not required. You can get an A in this class without doing extra homework. So, okay, so that's where your lecture grade is. So 75% of your grade is coming from the exams and the homework assignments. 25% of your grade comes from the lab. So the lab is over here. About 3 times in the week, approximately, I'll post new lab materials for you to go through. Again, the labs will basically introduce you to common techniques in the microbiology lab. And you'll have questions that you have to answer after you've reviewed the materials for that particular lab. All of those assignments together make up 138 points. You'll have 1 lab exam about, I think it's the week before or 5 days or so before your final. But in the lab exam, you'll have a series of questions that you'll answer that review the material from the labs that you would have worked through. So that's worth about 37 points. Your lab exam is open notes, open book, so you'll be able to review and go back to the previous labs while you do that exam. So that's where your points are coming from. I use the standard grading scale, And at the end of the semester, I'm just going to add the points that you accumulate on your exams and homeworks to the points that you get from your lab work. And I'm going to put that over the total points for the semester, which is, I believe, 700. So that's how you'll get your percentage and your grade. I've put the grading scale in your syllabus, so you can take a look at that when you have a chance. So 3 pieces of advice from the students who took this course in the first half of the summer. One thing that came up over and over and over again is the students felt it was really important to try to listen to the lectures on the day that they're posted. So I'll post new lectures every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday for you. This class moves fast. They felt it was important to listen to the lectures, try to take your notes, and then you have like a day or two to go back, look at your textbook, fill in any holes that you might have. If you need to listen to the lectures again, you can do that. But I heard more than one person recommend listening to the lectures the day that they're posted. Also, do the assignments on time. Try to do them the day that they're put up. It's easy to fall behind in this course if you don't keep up. Someone said, fortunately, it's only 6 weeks, so just try to focus for those 6 weeks so that you can get the A that you need and learn what you need to move on. Another thing related to time is that you may need to budget twice as much time to listen to the lectures if you intend on taking a lot of notes. So in a normal semester, you would have, let me think, about 2.5 hours, 3 hours of lecture per class meeting. And so when I post lectures in your course space, you'll have about that much. So just be aware. The best thing is to listen to the lecture and make notes as you're doing it. But if you are one of those people who wants to go back and listen again and make more notes, or you're listening to the video and then you pause, make some notes, then play, then pause, then play, or if you're like me and you have kids who are going to interrupt you, you may need more time to get through the lectures than just listening to them one time. So don't forget to budget for that as well. I will tell you that I did work out the math for the videos, and you have the same amount of lecture as you would if you were coming to campus to listen to me lecture. So it's the same, but if you're pausing the video, it may take you longer to get through. So that's just a little introduction to the class. I've only highlighted the points that I think are most important. I look forward to meeting you during an office hour. Please don't hesitate to ask me any questions that you might have. Again, I'm very receptive, especially in this 6-week format. If you have any questions, it's better to ask them now rather than to hold on to them until the next office hour. So use text, use email. If you can, try to study with someone else who's in the class. That helps you retain information and get through the information faster. So I'm going to let you get to it. I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you during office hours. Take care.